Do you have gifts and talents that you are ignoring or don't even know about? We're going to look at the cards today to figure that out. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you haven't met me yet, I'm Leesa. I'm a certified tarot consultant whose goal is to help you leverage the power of the tarot to gain insights into yourself and make your life amazing. And today I have a reading I'm really excited about. I'm hoping that some really great stuff is going to come up. We are going to look at some of those talents and some of the gifts that you have that you may not be paying attention to or need to utilize more in your life. So that is what we're going to get into. If you are new here and are very new to my channel, please consider subscribing. I do month ahead readings and tarotscope readings, so you definitely want to make sure you get notified when those come out. I also do guided meditations and other tarot related videos. The content here on my channel is all about the tarot. That is my passion. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. And while I am shuffling, if you are new to pick a card readings, if this is brand new for you, understand by nature they are collective readings, they're general readings. If you are drawn to this video though, then this is definitely for you. So we're going to team up intuitively. I need you to go ahead right now, slow your breathing down, start getting into that sort of fuzzy headspace, because in just a second, I'm going to need you to use your intuition to help choose a card. Okay. So today, guys, I wanted to focus, when it comes to the objects to choose, I wanted to go ahead and just focus on color. So hopefully you have slowed your breathing down at this point. Take a deep breath in and out. And I just chose 3 colors here. Your job is to just simply, and these are just 3 candles, just pick one of these colors that is speaking to you today, or one of these cards that is speaking to you today, and we will go with that. So the first one is black. The second one is sort of a brown red. And then we have purple. So hopefully you have chosen. What I'm going to need you to do, guys, is to go ahead and slide ahead in the video to the right part. I'll put the timestamps down below. Black group, I'm going to start with you. And then brown and purple, we will go ahead and look at yours a little bit later in the video. Okay, so moving on to those of you that chose the black candle then. What we are going to do, guys, just so you are aware kind of where we are going with this particular reading, we're going to take a little bit of time to look at your gifts that you currently have, some of the things that you maybe are unaware of. We're going to look at your some of your spiritual gifts, some of your gifts related to relationships, and some of your gifts related to your creative talents. So we're going to take a look at all of those. If you're excited about this, guys, please hit that like button. That really helps me out quite a bit. And we will go ahead and get started. So before I even flip this card, I want to just pull another one. I do want to see really what energies are surrounding you, how good of a job you are doing in terms of embodying your gifts, and maybe what is surrounding you right now. So, all right, we're going to go ahead right there. And the very first card that I see, wow, I get the witch card, I get the healer card. So in this particular deck, this is the Witch's Wisdom Oracle deck, guys. And so right off the bat, they are equating this witch card with healer. So I see just right off the bat, for a lot of you, there is that definite kind of witchy feel, witchy vibe, or if you don't love that word, and that's okay, that's just the word that they use, think about being a healer. Think about someone who is proactive, who's able to heal wounds, or who is able to make the world a better place. I kind of like this. I'm seeing this person going through the woods here, and she's collecting, different herbs and whatnot. So it definitely has that healer feel to it. But think about someone like that. There is in you the ability to heal in some way. For some of you, some of you might actually say, oh yes, I absolutely identify with the word witch. That definitely describes me. If so, that is fantastic. Okay, the next card that I have is the familiar card, or the guardian card. I absolutely love this. Oh, look, there's a frog, or that is a toad. I think that's a toad. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. There is a beautiful black cat. So what this is telling me here then, guys, I wanted to see about the obstacles that are currently surrounding you in terms of meeting your goals. And what I'm seeing here for you is that there is someone or some type of energy that should be around you in terms of being able to support you, and it is actually not there. So there needs to be either a person or maybe a guide, a literal familiar, maybe a certain set of spirits that you work with, or like I said, even a person, a human that is there that is going to be supportive or should be supportive of you. And that person or familiar or spirit or relationship, whatever that relationship is, that needs to be cultivated in order for you to fully reach your gifts. So that's something that, I definitely want you to keep in mind. Okay, so let's take a look at some of your spiritual gifts, and I'm excited to see where this is going to go. We have 3 of Wands reversed, 4 of Swords reversed. Okay, and I will hold these up just so you have a chance to take a look at these. This is the Spellcaster's Tarot deck. Right now, guys, I'm getting a strong sense of action. To me, when I see this in regards to spiritual gifts and what I'm seeing kind of within you, has a lot to do with an inherent ability, if you want something done spiritually, to be able to move quickly, okay? There is the ability for you to make something happen, not waiting around for things to just come around to it. But I have this idea that you would be actually very good at manifesting things for yourself. So if that is something that you haven't dug into yet or looked at, make sure that you do so. Look into some videos or some literature about manifesting things for yourself, because I'm seeing here the energy around you that is basically saying, we're not going to wait. If I want something, I'm going to get off my butt and I'm going to make it happen. And manifestation is kind of a funny thing, guys, because I know sometimes it can seem that there's a lot of blockages in the way, and sometimes that is the case. That is where growth is. Growth comes in, that idea of learning how to remove those blockages and open up your gifts. But that is what I'm seeing here. And I dealt another card here, guys. I have 3 cards I'm going to put at the very end, and those are going to help you figure out what actions you have moving forward to try to help unlock these things if you have not done so already. So let's take a little look at relationships here. Ooh, these are fighting me a bit. All right. Relationships, talents, gifts in regards to relationships. Okay. Okay. When it comes to relationships and the way that you operate with other people, I am seeing an ability with you to be able to dig deep with someone, to really understand them well, and to be very loyal when it comes to holding on to a friendship, if of course it's something that you are looking to hold on to. I see for a lot of you that you may be really selective when it comes to the friends that you do choose. Okay, you are not going to be best friends with absolutely everyone, but the people that you do decide to be incredibly loyal to, you have the ability to do that. And you also have the ability to understand these particular people more than others, potentially others can. So what does that mean for you? How can you put that, to your advantage, or use that in some way? Why, how is that useful? Why is that useful? That could be useful in a lot of different ways. It kind of depends on how you take it and move forward with it. But having the ability to create really deep and loyal connections with the people around you is something that you have the ability to do and can be incredibly useful, because if you have someone's back, they oftentimes have yours. So nurture some of those relationships that you have that are strong and that are definitely worthwhile. Just the good ones, please, nothing toxic. But that is what I'm seeing. That's just a general talent or a basic talent. And you're going to have to think, well, how is this useful for me? What can I do with that? And guys, a lot of people don't have the ability, and that seems fairly basic, but some people do not have the ability to do that. Some people can't make a long-term relationship to save their lives. So, all right, let's look at the creativity piece. Something that you may have that's very creative, or could be very creative, that you want to go ahead and potentially invest some time in. Wow. Okay. Passions. All right. The passions that you have. And I'm just looking here. First, we have the Lover's card. This is such a beautiful card. And I'm a cat lover, guys. So I love seeing this, even the little heart there. Okay. So the Lover's card. And I see the Star card. Wow. Okay. Guys, when I see the Lover's card and the Star card, both of these are talking to me about blending energies. You can see in the Star card here, she's blending what's above with what's below. The Lover's card is very much about two things coming and melding together. Right away I'm actually seeing some very artistic things here, painting, things like, potentially things like pottery. Any of those things where you're kind of taking some things and moving and manipulating them and coming out with something else. Anything dealing with color, I'm seeing a lot of color here and kind of blending and moving color together. This for me is honestly I'm getting very solitary feel here. I know with the Lovers, a lot of times we see that as two people, but right here I'm seeing this as something very creative, something that's coming together. So I am seeing, this idea of you sitting in a studio and bringing things together and making things sort of cohesive. I could see this also with storytelling, but definitely something solitary where you can be very creative and mix together very different things and create something out of that. So when I'm looking at the creative piece here, I was kind of curious to see what that was going to come up with. And that's kind of what I'm seeing. Do you have something in painting? Do you have something in drawing? Do you have something in, in the arts? I'm just seeing, very artistic, solitary, sit down, put pen to paper or brush to canvas or something along those lines, where you're taking something and kind of manipulating it into something else. Let me know in the comments below, guys, if that makes sense for you and what that is for you, if you do have something already with that. So, okay, let's take a look at these three cards. I want to look with the stack of cards and these right here. I want to look at what can you do at this point to move forward with trying to implement these things and how can they best serve you. And then this is going to tell us a little bit about where your mindset needs to be moving forward. So let's first start with this set right here. All right, so the Queen of Cups, reversed, illusion, and the Page of Wands. Okay. All right, so the illusion card, guys, this is talking about some of those things that you have buried deep down and potentially, look at this guy right here. This idea of not listening to yourself and not paying attention to yourself and sometimes things being hidden and tucked away. And I'm seeing the same thing here with this Queen of Cups. Here's this Page of Wands. And look, this cat is sitting here saying to him, hey, look, it is time to go. It is time to move. And that page is sitting there with the broom over the shoulder, but is standing solidly in one place. So for many of you, I'm going to say you need to stop listening to your head and start listening to your heart. Start listening to your intuition. Whatever you have here with these three things that have been, that you've been saying, no, I don't have that, or I couldn't have that, you absolutely can. For some of you, it's just a matter of maybe working through some things and kind of moving some blockages away. But I would say you need to start listening to your intuition and start uncovering some of these things that may be really hidden that you haven't thought about before. Some of these artistic pieces. Cultivate those close relationships. Take a look at that manifestation, and how for some of you that could be manifestation. For others, it could be some people like the term spell work as well. So I am seeing that real heavily, and this idea of tapping into your intuition, making sure that that is something that you are not hiding from yourself. Okay, you need to start listening to yourself more, and you need to take action. Okay, so let me go ahead and pull a card for what mindset you should have. And actually, guys, I'm going to put that at the end of the video. We're going to do that all together. So slide to that or hit that timestamp down below, and I will meet you at that point. Okay, so for those of you that picked the brown red candle, let's go ahead and get started. And just want to give you an idea about what we are going to be looking at here for you. I want to go ahead and start out looking at what you kind of have innately as a whole, what might be holding you back. And then we're going to take a look at some of the spiritual gifts and talents, those you have within relationships, and then those creative talents or skills that you may want to tap into. So as I am shuffling here, I want to get one more card to go along with this one. If you're excited about this, please go ahead and hit that like button. It definitely helps me out with this video. So if you could do that, that would be fantastic. And we will get started right away. Okay. All right, so the very first card that we have for you, is the card all about manifestation. And so these, by the way, guys, these are the Witch's Wisdom Oracle cards. I think they're so much fun. I always around this time of year, for me at least, I always start getting really excited about autumn coming on. And so these ones end up coming out of my stash. So what I'm seeing right away for you is that you have the ability to get stuff done. You have the ability to say, here's something I want, and you can go get it. And that could come out in the way of, very magically, as in, you're a badass spellcaster, or it could be something like, I have a goal, I'm going to do the things, I'm going to make my way to that goal. But you have the ability to get stuff done. Now, the thing getting in the way of you, okay, so the concealment, the cloak card, concealment, okay, so here's the issue, because some of you right away are saying, absolutely not. I do not have the ability to do that. I actually really struggle with that. Some of you are playing things way too safe. Some of you are getting in your own way. If you are going to make things happen, you have to throw yourself into it, whether that is your whole intent, whether that is going out there on a line, on the line if you're trying to, if you're trying to make something happen and it's more of a public thing, but you need to be willing to put yourself out there. And some of you are playing this way, way, way too safe. That's one of the things about this, guys, is you need to understand that, you have talents and things that might be hidden. They might be hiding under layers of things that you need to peel away. So keep that in mind. These are all things that you need to work on. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at kind of what you have, and then we're going to look at how you need to work on those and sort of next steps for you. I always want you to leave with next steps in mind. So let us take a quick second and look at your spiritual gifts and abilities. Wow, okay. Knight of Pentacles, the Emperor. Okay. And let me see, I have a couple of things coming through here. Okay. This is going to depend on who you are, because I have two things that kind of could be sort of opposing, but don't necessarily have to be. So the very first thing, for some of you, when I see the Emperor card, especially, I'm seeing that concept of having something in place, or having a way of doing things or system in place. And with the Knight of Pentacles, I see that steady moving head type of energy. Okay, so I see for many of you, in terms of your your gifts or your talents or whatnot in the spiritual realm, actually has to do with the ability of being able to choose a system or a path that really speaks to you, and being able to stick with that, finding that right path and moving forward in it, whether that's a way of advancement or just self-learning. But there is the ability for many of you to pick up something and be able to work through it in the long run. Some things take a really long time to progress through, and so you have the ability, many of you, to pick a path that's going to work for you, and actually spend many years even working through that until you get to a point where you feel really, really comfortable there. The other piece I was getting has to do with the idea of working with the land, or working with nature specifically, especially being out in the woods and working with trees and I guess the earth energy surrounding that. So for some of you, spending time out in the woods, you might find that actually grounds you or recharges you. Think about ways that you can take either of those two things and make that work for you, and find a way to make that work for you. Okay, let's look at your relationships. What type of talents do you have with your relationships? Okay. And once again, guys, we're going to hold off on those until closer to the end. Wow, it's so funny. This came up in the last group as well. I always think that's really interesting. Okay, so you have the ability to, and whether or not you're seeing this now or not, but you are going to have the ability, when it comes to the right person or people, okay, you are going to be someone who's able to connect with people that are going to be good for you right away. Okay, so that doesn't mean everyone. It doesn't mean that you, I'm not saying you make best friends with people right away. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that your spirit or your soul or your, pick a word that makes you happy, as you're walking through this life, I truly believe that we have certain people that we are supposed to meet and supposed to connect with. I believe that you, from what I'm seeing here, your spirit is going to recognize those people's spirits and will be able to connect with them very quickly. You're going to be able to identify those people. You're going to know who they are, and you will connect with them and be able to work with them closely for the time that you need to. Some of the people that we meet do not need to be in our lives forever. Sometimes the people that we meet just need to be there for a short time. But your spirit, your soul, is going to know and be able to identify those people as you go through your life. Who those people are, be able to identify them, work with them, stay with them as long as needed, and then move on from there. That is a fantastic ability to have. So keep that in mind. If you do have people that you run into, and it is like having one of those conversations where you feel like you've known them forever, then there you go. Keep that in mind. All right. Oh my gosh, my cat is here. If she walks on the table, I'm in such trouble. All right, let's take a look at your creative talents. Okay. By the way, guys, I don't know if you heard my cat, but if you have pets, please let me know. I think that would be a lot of fun to find out. I have one cat. She is 20 years old. Oh, one more. And she's deaf, so she can't hear me when I say things like, go away. But yeah, here she is. All right, so creative talents. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so we have justice reversed. We have the devil. Wow. Okay. So the devil, guys, in this particular, you can see here with this particular card, he's, it's all about temptation. So he looks like a man here, but then you can see there's like this little, this classic devil's tail. Okay. And here he is offering them something, and we have justice reversed. So I have, here's a cat butt. Sorry about that. So what I am seeing for you guys when it comes to your creative talents, there is something that you can tap into that many people would consider to be racy or illicit or something that is too much of a good thing, right? Because that's what I'm seeing. And then with justice, I'm seeing the imbalance there. Okay, so you have something that could be considered to be too much of a good thing or too much of something, and you have the ability to take that creatively and turn it into something that is going to, I don't know, I don't want to say sell because that's not it. I'm thinking a little bit of on the creative mindset here. It's going to be appreciated. There's the word I'm looking for. Something that would normally be too much or a little racy or whatnot will suddenly be considered to be beautiful or useful or okay, because you've kind of tipped it and almost gone a little bit too far with it. So that is something very interesting. And I don't want to give too many examples. I don't want to try to give specific examples because I want you to kind of think, what does that mean and how could I use that? Okay, so let's take a look at the actions that you need to move ahead. Oh, interesting. You had the Emperor, and now we have the Empress here, reversed. We have the Nine of Pentacles. We have the King of Swords. Wow. Okay. So guys, I'm getting a very kind of masculine or yang vibe, that sort of aggressive push vibe when I'm seeing this. You need to understand right off the bat a couple of things. Number one, because I see these two cards right now just speaking to me together, you need to know exactly where you are, where you want to be, what would make you really comfortable, and you need to be willing to basically go out there and get it. You need to have a plan. You need to look at things and say, oh, like with this whole manifestation piece, right? You have the ability to basically grab something and make it happen, but you can't do that unless you sit down and know exactly what it is that you want, are willing to get up off your butt and move, and have some concrete steps ahead. That's going to be really important for you. A lot of people think that manifestation is just about making a wish and something happens. That is not how that works. I could wish for things all day, and unless I open doors for myself, I'm not going to get that thing. So that's what you need to do. Those three pieces right there, really important. Know what it is, be willing to act and have a plan, and definitely think about, what that means for you in these talents here. Now, last card, this is going to be looking at what your mindset needs to be. But I'm going to go ahead and draw that for everyone at the end. So I need you to go ahead and move to that timestamp. I'll include it down below, or you could just slide to that, but I'll meet you there. Okay, let's move ahead for those of you that chose purple then. And just to give you a rundown of what we're going to do in this particular reading, I want to take a look at kind of what you have inherently within you as a whole, how that is potentially being blocked right now, what types of hidden gifts and talents you have in regards to your relationships, your spiritual life, and your creative life. And then, of course, I want to give you something to walk away with in terms of having an action plan and moving forward. So we're going to look at kind of your next steps. If you're excited about that, guys, please hit the like button. That really helps me quite a bit. Okay, and let's go ahead and get started. So the very first card for you, just in general, oh, Union, the Union card. Okay, so right off the bat, one of the things about you as a person is you have the ability to make relationships work for you. And I'm not just talking about romantic relationships, but there is something about you as a person that will allow the relationships that you have with other people to actually work to your benefit and help you achieve your goals. Okay, so when I look at what is actually causing you issues or causing you not to be able to make those deeper connections or have those work for you, it actually has to do a lot more with the ability for you to dedicate yourself to yourself. So for some of you, if you're struggling and saying, well, actually, I have a really crappy job with finding relationships that are helpful for me, you need to look at yourself first, because you need to be in a position where you love and appreciate yourself before other people are going to love and appreciate you. So for many of you, if you are already at the point where you are able to say, yes, my relationships work for me, great. If you are not, start thinking about yourself and how you can make that better and make that self-love come through, so that you're not jumping into some of those more toxic relationships. But guys, at your core, that is something that's going to be really important for you. So let's take a look at some of your spiritual gifts. And I'm going to do a few categories here, and then over here on the right, we're going to look at your action plan moving forward. So spiritual gifts. Okay. All right, so we have the Magician reversed. We have the Eight of Pentacles reversed. Okay, so, all right, your spiritual gifts, guys, and this is not to say that this is the only way for you, but the place where you will probably flourish the most is not going to be in a formal, rigid, or fully put together spiritual system. Okay, there are, the way that I define things, or could be very different from the way that you define things. But when I look at the way that people practice spirituality, some of them are very formal, and they go to a place and they do certain things or actions while they're in that place, and that is how they connect. Other people, they do things like stick their hands in the dirt, or go out and pick flowers, or work with it that way. And so I am seeing here for you, your natural talents are really going to shine when you get away from a lot of that formal structure and start getting to a place where things are getting really messy. Okay. And I don't want to define it any more than that, just because the definitions in this community can be wacky and all over the place. But whatever you have, and you still could be good at some of those more formal things, but there is definitely a difference between some of those more formal, set things up in a particular manner, do everything the same, say things the same all the time, and kind of going out there and going off the cuff. And for you, I'm seeing that you are really going to shine when you allow things to just start flowing in a more kind of natural, for you type of way. So keep that in mind. That could be really an untapped place for some of you to go. Some of you may already know this. You're like, yeah, I do that. I had my feet in the mud yesterday. That is not the only way, but all right, let's look at relationships. And we already know that you have a strong ability to make, really deep relationships that could help you. Okay, So we have the 7 of Rods and the 2 of Rods, both reversed. Okay, so the thing that I'm seeing here, guys, when it comes to relationships and with you, I see this idea of the ability to be like a mediator and a peace bringer and someone who is able to bring people together, a community builder, okay? Potentially around one idea, or being able to bring people, kind of corral people into an area around one idea. If this is something that you haven't discovered within yourself, understand that it is there. You know, how can you, and think about how you can have that work for you. How can you help build communities? Because that is what I'm seeing here. Community builder, person, you know, people connectors. How can you do that? And the reason why I'm saying around, you know, an idea, think about something that you're really passionate about, because I'm seeing a lot of passion in kind of interests, people of like minds. All right, so let's look at the creative side of things. What creative talents do you have? Okay, so we have the Emperor reversed. We have the 4 of Swords reversed. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so when guys, I'm seeing a lot of, a little bit of kind of a breaking of the mold type of thing. Your creative talents are definitely going to be outside of, some of the things that are going to be strongest for you are going to be outside of the norm, things that are going to be different, kind of breaking away from what traditional society would consider to be normal or traditional or mainstream, okay? Gosh, I have things kind of coming at me from all different angles. So okay, so I'm seeing for some of you, and this is very specific, so this is not all of you. Okay, so for some of you, you get your creative flashes actually from dreams. So keep that in mind. And then I'm seeing for some of you, I'm seeing very much a night piece to this actually. Especially with the stars and everything here. So when it comes to your creative talents, I think probably for you the best time to tap into those is going to be at night. In fact, you might be someone who stays up really late and knocks things out in the middle of the night. So I'm seeing that for some of you. For a lot of you guys, the creative talents, but this is something that's laying really dormant in a lot of you, but it needs to be something that's going to break the mold, that's going to be different from what other people are doing. And I honestly think it's kind of taking a spin on something. So taking something that is fairly mainstream, but then looking at it in a weird, like kind of a cockeyed type of way. So I'm hoping that makes sense, because I'm getting like a few different things with this one, and sometimes that happens when there's just a number of people in the collective that are really different. It's kind of hitting me in a few different ways. So, all right, let's look at your path forward. How can you make sure that you are utilizing these things the best way? All right, 9 of Pentacles, Queen of Rods, 2 of Cups. Okay. So once again, guys, the 2 of Cups, when I think of the word union, I think of the 2 of Cups. So, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of you making connections with people, being really dynamic in your relationships and very passionate about the things that you know and you love. There is a level of comfort. So I don't want you to go, I don't think you're going to have to go too far out of your comfort zone to get to a place where you can be really successful with some of these things. So, you know, how can you utilize these things? You're going to be able to utilize them in a way that fits very well into where you are right now as soon as you get them figured out. You're going to need to have the ability to kind of step forward and, you know, make some of those connections and you know, reach forward and reach out. But the ability for you to do that and make things work for you is definitely going to be there. So guys, the last part of the video is simply going to be looking at the mindset that you should have in order to move forward and have this work. So you have your action plan. Let's get that mindset. And I'm going to go ahead and pull one card for everyone. So I'm going to put that at the next timestamp, but it should be the very next part for you. So just hold tight. Okay, so we talked about that action plan for you. You've looked at the different gifts you have. Now let's look at the mindset or a mantra or just a quick word of wisdom that you can take with you and keep in mind as you're trying to put these gifts and these talents to use or trying to unlock them. And guys, if you have not subscribed yet, I would love for you to join me. Go ahead and hit that bell down below. I want to make sure that you get those month ahead readings and the tarotscope readings. And, just in general, would love to have you part of the community. And please comment below. Let me know which stack you pulled and if it resonated with you. Okay, so let's see what we get. So the card we get is Puahonia. This is the place of refuge. And it says, I am forgiven. I forgive. Okay, so as you're moving ahead, keep in your head, okay, I am forgiven. I forgive. So who do you forgive? Do you need to forgive yourself? Do you need to forgive someone else? Where does forgiveness fit into this larger journey for you? And guys, as I said before, this is a more general reading for the collective. So if you'd like more specific answers on any of these things, I'd love to give you a one-on-one reading. Go ahead and check out my business page. I'll have that below. And then feel free to go ahead and check out the month ahead reading for this month if you haven't seen it yet. I'll definitely include a link down below and up here. And I appreciate you spending some time with me, guys. I'll see you next time.